Part 15. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, She Yet. Chapter 141. Mom, Great Ren kissed Rensuya on the face. She took out a sealed bag from the drawer and put a few hairs with hair follicles in them. At the same time, she pulled out a few hairs from her head and put them in another bag. Mom, you can also pull out a few. Rensuya smiled and said, you came out of my belly. Her features and eyes look so much like mine. If she's not my daughter, could she be someone else's? Now that we've done it, let's just get together, Ren said with a smile, without expressing his worries. The next day, Gao Ying took Ren to the appraisal center. There are two prices for paternity testing. One is expedited, and you can get the report on the same day. The second one, you have to wait 2 days for the results, Gao Ying said thoughtfully. Expedited. Gao Ying was not surprised at all by this result. After all, the Ren family was not short of money. In the rest area of the appraisal center, he was still leaning on the sofa, closing his eyes and relaxing. After a while, Gao Ying left the rest area and walked outside the door. Su Zaiyin handed something to her. This is what Miss Ren asked me to give to you. Gao Ying looked at what was handed to her and wondered who the hair in it came from. The more she came into contact with the little lady, the more she felt that she seemed to know a lot of things and that she had many secrets hidden in her heart. Returning to the rest area, Gao Ying said, Miss, the private detective has delivered the things. Ren opened his eyes and said, take it for a paternity test. Urgent. She only found out about her brother's life experience after his death in her previous life, and the information was revealed from Kong Lian's mouth. Privately, she wanted to believe that Luo Li was her biological brother. But she was worried about Kong Lian. If that was just a joke by Kong Lian, deliberately deceiving himself and deliberately making himself suffer. She couldn't prove it in her previous life, but she can figure it out in this life. The waiting time seemed extremely long. A staff member walked to the rest area and looked at the two people. The first identification report is out. Gao Ying stood up and opened her eyes. She took the report from the window without reading it and handed it to Ren immediately. Ren took over, his eyes stayed on the homepage for a few seconds, and then he opened the first report. The names on it were written by Ren and Rensuya. She turned to the end and breathed a sigh of relief when she saw it was a parent-child relationship. No wonder she was like this. She had seen how cruel Ruan Fengru and her father were, and had to think deeply about it. Since they could plan to kill their own brother, was this girl really kept because of her gender, or did they switch the baby and let the Ren family raise other people's children? She would even think about it. If their plan failed, they would use the excuse that she was not the daughter of the Ren family to give birth to another child, and then continue their plot. In short, as soon as various ideas came out, she wanted to confirm them. It's not that she wants to think of people so bad, but their bottom line, their methods, in her opinion, they can do anything. It seems that they really kept her because she was their daughter. Soon the second report came out, and Gao Ying handed it to her. Turning to the first page, the names of Ren and Kongji were written on it. Ren turned to the last page without any hesitation. When those words came into view, her eyelids twitched. Confirmed no blood relationship. As expected. Ren chuckled, and that sound sounded like relief, and joy. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, She Yet. Chapter 142. Whether in the past life or in this life, even if Ren kept telling herself that it was not that she was not good enough, but that he was not worthy, it was his fault. No matter how calm she was, she always worried about why he, as a father, treated her like this. He had clearly loved her for more than 10 years, why could he be so cruel to her? Now, The words confirmed no blood relationship made her completely relieved. Ren couldn't help but let out a low laugh. She was happy for herself, happy that she didn't have such an inhuman father. But as she laughed, tears overflowed from her eyes. In the past life and the present life, the stone that had been pressing on her heart was finally removed. She no longer had to worry about it, and she would not have any guilt. The sense of morality she had grown up to have been suffocating her, and now she finally didn't have to bear the guilt of killing her father. She and Konglji were enemies, enemies of two lives. Gao Ying looked at the ups and downs of the young lady's emotions and was a little worried. Young lady. She handed over a wet wipe. Ren did not take over, and rudely wiped away the tears with the back of his hand. The emotions in his eyes gradually calmed down and returned to indifference. The next game was a confrontation between the Ren family and the Kong family and the Ruan family. The third and fourth reports were released at the same time. Gao Ying placed the two latest reports in front of her. Ren picked up one of them, which was the paternity test report of Luo Li and Konglji, and the final result showed that there was no blood relationship. This made her feel relieved. The second report was from Luo Li and Ren Suya, and the final result showed a parent-child relationship. After seeing this report, Ren completely relaxed. Kong Lian did not lie to her. Luo Li was really her brother, her real brother. She put the 4 reports in her bag and returned home. As soon as she came back, she ran into her cheap father Konglji. Konglji could clearly sense that she was in a good mood, and the joy between his eyebrows was about to overflow. Ran, what happy thing happened to you? My friend gave me a gift. Konglji smiled and said, then remember to return the gift. Of course, I will definitely return them a big gift, so that they will never forget it. Ren smiled. Konglji was very satisfied. His daughter was still the same daughter. She didn't have high material requirements, and a small gift would satisfy her. He was really satisfied with the work he had cultivated since childhood. Ren walked upstairs with a brisk pace, and went straight to her grandfather's study instead of returning to her room. Grandpa was having a video conference with senior foreign executives. She didn't interrupt them, and found a place to sit down and wait for the meeting to end. 2 hours later, the video conference finally ended. Is there something? Ren stood up and took out 2 reports, one for her and Ren Suya. Ren Hongruo's pupils suddenly contracted after seeing the paternity test between his precious granddaughter and Konglji. What a plot! If it wasn't for that accident that made his daughter pregnant, Konglji might not have been able to enter the Ren family. At the beginning, it was for the sake of Ren Suya's belly that he reluctantly agreed to his daughter's marriage with Konglji. Although he knew that the child in the belly was most likely the product of Konglji's calculations, he didn't expect that he didn't do it himself, but when he thought of his precious daughter being taken to some man by them, Ren Hongruo wanted to cut them into pieces. Grandpa, don't be angry. Ren comforted him and quickly took out the second report to calm his grandfather down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, She Yet. Chapter 143. Grandpa, don't be angry, take a look at these 2 reports first. Ren Hongruo noticed the report in front of him and opened it with doubt. The first report was a paternity test between Luo Li and his cheap father, confirming that they were not related by blood. When he turned to the second report, Ren Hongruo suddenly looked up at Ren. This is... Ren Hongruo thought of a possibility. Grandpa, he is the younger brother. Because the younger brother was judged to be a dead baby as soon as he was born, there is a rule in the Ren family's hometown that such babies cannot be officially named, let alone included in the family tree. They have always been replaced by younger brother. Ren continued, In the previous life, I met my younger brother after I was driven away by that person. At that time, I didn't know he was my younger brother. It was not until he died because of saving me that I learned his identity from Kong Lian. Grandpa, you won't blame me for telling you now, right? Ren Hongru shook his head. Silly child. What are you worried about? Grandpa won't know. From her words, it can be inferred that Kongji and others don't know the existence of the younger brother yet. In the previous life, it should be after he came into contact with Ran Ran that they paid attention to his younger brother and had the opportunity to know his identity. At that time, Kongji and his friends had already got what they wanted. Ran Ran and his brother had nothing and posed no threat, so they naturally didn't care about him. On the contrary, his appearance made some people turn him into a tool to attack and torture Ran Ran. Ren Hongru understood that she wanted to protect her younger brother. If things developed according to the established track, Kongji and his friends would not discover the existence of his younger brother, so he would be safe. If they intervened too early and came into contact with him, if Kongji discovered it, they would never let him live with their madness. The more you care about someone, the less you dare to let the other person take risks, just in case. In this world, no one can guarantee that you can protect him 100%. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of one. In the final analysis, Ran Ran wanted to protect him and wait until they completely eliminated the danger before taking him home. The child still felt guilty about the fact that she had harmed her younger brother in her previous life. She was afraid of repeating the same mistakes and harming him again. Ren Hongru felt sorry for his granddaughter. Every time he mentioned the past life, although it was only a few words, there were still so many sufferings behind it that they didn't know about. Only she knew it. And she endured all this silently. How many people know him? Ren Hongru asked. Ren Ran thought for a while. Except for the two of us, there is Gao Ying. No one is paying attention to him for the time being. Ren Hongru nodded. You did a good job. Don't tell your mother and grandmother about this for the time being, especially your mother. Okay. What about this? Ren Hongru glanced at the report. Show it to her, so that she can understand what kind of evil ghost the person next to her is. Okay. Tomorrow I will arrange for her to go abroad for a while. Ren Hongru still felt sorry for his daughter. It's good for mom to go out and relax. Although the mother seems to have let go of her cheap father now, she may feel uncomfortable in her heart. She just pretends to be relaxed when facing them, and doesn't want to make them worry. Ren Suya, who came out of the social circle outside, looked for her daughter as soon as possible. The door closed, and Ren Suya couldn't wait to ask, how is it? Ren Ran took out 2 paternity test reports from the drawer. Mom, you have to be mentally prepared. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo she mo yet. Chapter 144. This sentence instantly made her heart rise high. Ren Suya opened the first book and breathed a sigh of relief after seeing the result. She was almost scared to death by her daughter. She thought she was not her daughter. She opened the second book and was stunned when she saw the words confirmed no blood relationship. How is this possible? I was obviously only with him. Ren Ran held his mother's hand. Mom, what happened back then might not be that simple. You must have been set up by them, and the one who did it was not him. When Ren Suya thought of herself being sent to the bed of an unknown man by them, her stomach churned, and she suddenly stood up and rushed to the bathroom. Ren Ran followed and watched his mother retching by the sink, feeling both distressed and hateful. He felt sorry for his mother's experience and hated the man with a wolfish heart. His mother's heart and eyes were full of him, but he did such a beastly thing. Mom, everything is over. Ren Ran didn't know how to comfort his mother and hugged her gently. Of course, I can't get over it. I don't want to see him for a moment. I'm afraid I can't help but want to ask him why he treats me like this. Ren Suya cried and laughed, and finally collapsed on the cold floor powerlessly. It's not your fault. You can't think you are wrong because of their evil. The wrong person is always malicious. The victim is the victim. She can't be not a victim just because the victim is not perfect. They are the ones who should be condemned. Of course, don't believe in love. Even if you love, don't believe it completely. Ren Suya held her hand tightly with both hands, with a hint of paranoia in her eyes. Well, I will remember. After getting her daughter's affirmative answer, Ren Suya let go of her hand with satisfaction. That day, Ren Hongru sent Kongji on a business trip for 3 days. This time, he was very happy to give him a piece of meat bone, thinking that his good performance during this period made his father-in-law loosen up. When Ren Suya received Kongji's text message, he was already at the airport. She took a look, with hatred in her eyes. That night, Ren sent Ren Suya and her grandmother abroad and watched the plane take off. After sending her relatives away safely, she wanted to go back to the battlefield and do what she had not done. 3 days later, Kongji came back from a business trip and brought back a lot of gifts. Just as he was about to go upstairs, he heard the conversation of 2 maids from the stairwell. I thought the young lady was accompanying the old lady to play, but it turned out that she was going to see a doctor. I just saw that the young lady was crying, and it seemed that her condition was quite serious. No way. I saw that the old lady was not in a good spirit before. How could she be so serious all of a sudden? Hearing this, Kongji was happy in his heart. It seemed that the formation worked. He didn't listen anymore and went upstairs directly. Originally, he wanted to go to Ren's room, but he turned his feet and came towards the direction of the study. When he was about to knock on the door, he noticed that the study door was ajar, and there was a conversation in the room. "Grandpa, is Grandma really okay?" "Don't worry, she's fine." Suddenly, Ren's voice tightened, and he asked anxiously, "Grandpa, what's wrong with you?" It's okay, I just feel a little dizzy, maybe I'm too tired from the company's work these days." "Don't be too tired, otherwise, you should transfer Dad back to the head office," Ren said. Standing outside the door, Kongji was delighted, and he didn't rush to knock on the door, but continued to eavesdrop with his ears erect. "Your dad still needs to hone himself outside. Ran, after the college entrance examination this year, he will go to work in the company during the summer vacation and get familiar with his own company in advance," Ren Hongru ordered. "Ah. You don't want to?" "It's not that I don't want to, I just think it's too early." "It's not too early, you will take over sooner or later." Standing outside the door, Kongji's whole body was stiff, and his face gradually became gloomy. "What about Dad?" Ren asked in surprise. "What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 145. "Your father is not a member of the Ren family after all," Ren Hongru said slowly. Standing outside the door, Kongji's blood seemed to stop flowing, and a long-suppressed anger in his chest was reviving little by little. He had endured humiliation in the Ren family for so many years, carefully trying to please them, and worked diligently in the group, just for fear that he would be dissatisfied. But even if he did so much, in the end he was still an outsider in the eyes of this dead old man. Ren Hongru's voice continued. "Your father has the ability, but I am not at ease to hand over the company to him in the future. It's hard to say about the people in his family, and it's hard to guarantee that they won't put messy people into the company in the future. The company belongs to the Ren family and is the hard work of Grandpa. Grandpa doesn't want to be ruined by the Kong family, so no matter how your father does, he is not on the same page with us after all." Kongji snorted in his heart. This is what he thought in his heart, what he has always thought. Even if he marries into the family, he is still surnamed Kong after all. The gloom in his eyes is getting thicker and thicker. Grandpa, my dad knows what he is doing and won't bring uncle and his family back to the company. But it's okay this way. Dad has always felt tired and wants to travel around the world with mom. Then I'll try my best. Hearing Ren Ran's words, Konglji's face darkened a little. The Ren family is all the same, selfish. Well, Grandpa's health can still last for a few years. When you graduate from college, Grandpa will almost retire, Ren Hungruo said with a smile. I will try to complete the goal early so that you can enjoy your old age early. Konglji stared at the half-open door with a cold gaze. After a while, he turned and left, with a strong murderous intent in his eyes. At this time, the grandfather and grandson in the study room stared at the picture on the surveillance screen and clearly saw his back as he left. The two looked at each other and smiled tacitly. The fish has taken the bait. Konglji did not lose his mind and still put the gift in Ren Ran's room. As for the other gift, he planned to give it to Ren Hungruo later. He wanted to call Ruan Fengruo, but when he thought that this was a villa halfway up the mountain, not his own villa on the mountain, he resisted the urge. At dinner in the evening, Konglji had already put his mood in order, just like nothing had happened. He was still filial and respectful to Ren Hungruo, and doted on his daughter. The table was full of joy, and no one could see the turbulent waves inside. Everything was normal, and people could not see the slightest flaw. For this, Ren Ran really admired his acting skills and his forbearance. There was a reason why he could succeed and deceive everyone in his previous life. Dad, the research in Handong province is basically done. Konglji saw Ren Hungruo finish his meal, and then he spoke. He did things according to his established ideas. You stay there for the time being, and I will transfer you back to the head office when the opportunity is right. Hearing his perfunctory words, Konglji sneered in his heart, but smiled and replied, okay. 5 days later, Konglji returned to Handong province, and Ren Ran returned to school. Konglji did not go directly to Handong province, but took a detour and returned to High City to find Ruan Fengruo. Looking at the man who came to visit suddenly, Ruan Fengruo knew that something must have happened. Konglji did not have much time and got straight to the point. I just got the news that the old man was going to train Ren Ran and hand over the company to her. Ruan Fengruo was not surprised at all. His face was gloomy. This old man can't stay. How are the arrangements for your people? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 146. It's all arranged. Then do it, Konglji said in a deep voice, noticing that she looked different. What's the problem? I want to wait a little longer, until the masters. Before she finished her words, he interrupted her. Don't worry, it has already started to affect her. The old woman is receiving treatment abroad, and he has been in a state of depression recently. Konglji continued, don't you want to get your daughter out of bad luck as soon as possible? When she mentioned her daughter, Ruan Fengruo felt a little scared. When she was born, she was in poor health and often fell ill when she was a child. At that time, she was taken care of by her mother, but within half a year, her mother broke her leg, and her father had a fight with people from the neighboring village and died. Because of the continuous bad luck in her family, she listened to the villagers and went to fortune-telling, only to find out that her daughter's fate was extremely bad. Her physique was not easy to get pregnant, and when she gave birth to Konglian, she hurt her body even more. The doctor even tactfully reminded her that it would be difficult for her to get pregnant again in the future. And this child was the bridge between her and Konglji, and she couldn't abandon it. If she could not get pregnant again, she would not have kept this child until now. Fate treated her unfairly, and she could only grit her teeth to deal with it. She used her connections and found various ways. During this period, she encountered many scammers, and also met one or two masters with real skills, including the master who gave her guidance. She spent more than 5 million to buy an extremely precious amulet from the other party. Unfortunately, this amulet can only guarantee her 10 years of worry-free life, and she must do more good deeds during these 10 years. But after 10 years, she will not be able to stop the bad luck unless she changes her fate against the will of heaven. Perhaps it was God's mercy that allowed her to meet the second master before the 10-year deadline, and this master could change her fate against the will of heaven. This year is the 10th year. If she cannot change her fate successfully this year, the consequences will be unimaginable. At the end of last year and the beginning of this year, the bad luck her daughter experienced indicated that the amulet began to fail. They did not have much time, but Ruan Fengru was cautious and wanted to wait until the private formation buried in the Ren family's ancestral tomb reached a peak before taking action. "I'll think about it." At the same time, Ren, who returned to school on the first day, arrived at the school gate on time, and Kong Lian's car happened to be parked at the gate. Zhao Yi and others saw Ren and rushed over happily. Kong Lian saw them talking and laughing as soon as she got off the car, staring at them with gloomy eyes. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman shouted from the front. "Don't be afraid, Xiao Ba." Ren and others heard the voice and saw a large dog running towards them. The dusty memories of the previous life came rushing in. At that time, she had just been driven out by Konglji not long ago, and she was penniless and didn't even have an ID card. She wanted to borrow money from friends, but her reputation was very bad at the time, and it could be said that she was ruined. In addition, the news that Konglji took away the company and drove her away spread among friends, and no one was willing to lend a hand. That day, a kind-hearted young lady finally bought her a hot dog. She had just taken a bite, and a large dog came towards her like crazy. Not only did it eat her sausage, it also bit her, leaving her arm bloody. The dog owner had to work hard to save her from the dog's mouth. The dog owner apologized and compensated her with a sum of money, which allowed her to survive for a while. She still remembers the tearing pain when she was bitten by the dog. She has developed a fear of large dogs. Seeing the large dog about to pounce on them, Ren's body froze inexplicably. Reason told her to dodge quickly, but her body seemed to be fixed by someone and could not move. Kong Lian, who was standing not far from them, naturally noticed the situation here, and her eyes flashed with excitement. "Quick, bite that bitch to death. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her." Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 147. Kong Lian stared at it intently, praying in her heart. "Bite her to death. Go over and bite her to death." "Xiao Ba," the dog owner shouted desperately, but it was no use. The large mastiff continued to run forward. Guo Tongwen reacted quickly and dodged to the side. The other two also dodged to the side. Only Ren seemed to be frightened and didn't know how to dodge at all. Lin Xiaoi was closest to her, and hurried forward to pull her over. The mastiff didn't even look at them, and ran past them like the wind and headed forward. Kong Lian noticed that the dog didn't pounce on Ren and bit her. She was angry and hateful. "Useless dog, useless. I thought I could see her in a mess today, but I didn't expect the dog to not attack her." Seeing the mastiff getting closer and closer to her, Kong Lian suddenly realized that she was in danger. She moved aside like Ren did, making way for the useless dog to go. When the mastiff approached her, it suddenly pounced directly at her. That ferocious expression was as if it had seen a bone. "Ah!" Kong Lian was frightened and screamed. She subconsciously wanted to step back, but her center of gravity was unstable and she fell down. The mastiff took the opportunity to bite her arm that was blocking her. "Ah!" The pain of the bite instantly made Kong Lian scream. The classmates around were frightened by the scene, and bright red blood instantly flowed from her arm. "Help! Help!" Kong Lian screamed shrilly and asked for help from the people around her. But no one dared to step forward because of the ferocity of the large dog. The dog owner also arrived panting and pulled the rope desperately, but the mastiff was too strong and the middle-aged woman couldn't pull it away. The school security rushed over immediately, using a stick to help the dog owner pull the ferocious large dog away. After pulling the dog away, Kong Lian lay weakly on the ground, with multiple bites on her body and even scratches on her face. She was as miserable as she could be. After hearing the news, the school teacher rushed over immediately. A classmate called an ambulance for her. "Oh my God! It's too miserable. Isn't this Kong Lian? Some time ago, she was almost robbed by a robber while shopping. It's too unlucky for her to encounter such a thing again today." Some people couldn't help but sigh. Some people didn't like her and didn't sympathize with her at all. Instead, they said jokingly, "In my opinion, she did too many bad things and got retribution. The daughter of a mistress, full of lies, who knows where the money she eats and uses now comes from. Don't say that, she may have worked hard to get it." Hee hee. A boy laughed slyly. A girl snorted coldly, "You hate someone, but don't make dirty rumors." Ren Ran looked at Kong Lian, who was thrown to the ground, and her mind unconsciously recalled her past life, which was also so miserable. No, it was even more miserable than this. She was bitten by the dog more than 10 times, and her arms and calves were stitched with more than a dozen stitches. At that time, she was helpless, and the dog owner didn't want to pay. If she didn't want to fight with the other party was afraid of making her angry, so he spent money to settle the matter. God's law goes round and round. She suffered everything she should have suffered. In the previous life, she took her place and suffered everything she shouldn't have suffered. In this life, she must experience her destined fate in person. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo She Mo Yet. Chapter 148. While Ruan Fengru was still considering whether to take action immediately, she received a call from the school. "What happened?" Kong Ji asked. "Lian Lian was bitten by a mad dog that suddenly rushed out at the school gate and is now being sent to the hospital." Ruan Fengru picked up the car keys and walked out. Kong Ji subconsciously followed, but just as he reached the door, he stopped. "Fengru, I won't go over. Call me when you get there." Ruan Fengru looked at the man standing a few steps away and suddenly found that these few steps were like a chasm. For more than 10 years, no matter what problems they had, he could never rush to their side in the first time. He always made phone calls secretly and did not dare to show concern directly. No matter what happened, she was the one who took care of it. For a moment, she felt very tired, very tired. Yeruan Fengru responded lightly and walked into the elevator. Kongji did not stay long and left here. In the hospital, Ruan Fengru looked at her daughter's wounds. The wound on her neck had not healed yet, and now there were so many more on her body. Just like the master said, 10 years is a short period of peace, and 10 years later you will suffer double misfortune. This has just begun, and there are so many dangers. I dare not imagine what kind of situation I will encounter in a longer time, and I don't know which day or which accident will take her life away. Kong Lian looked at her mother with tears in her eyes and a voice full of fear. "Mom, am I going to die? Mom, I don't want to die. I am still so young, I don't want to die." Ruan Fengru held her daughter's hand and gently comforted her. "Don't worry, Mom will not let you get into trouble. Mom is here for everything. It was Mom's fault before. Mom shouldn't let you get involved. Mom should do it. Mom, woo woo woo." Kong Lian sobbed in fear. Before, she didn't think there was anything wrong with fate. That was all the feudal superstition of her mother and others. Now she is really scared and dare not underestimate fate anymore. Mom, I must get Ren Ran's fate, I must. Kong Lian's expression became crazy. If she gets Ren Ran's fate, she will definitely become a little princess that everyone pursues, and she will become a superior person. She has never been so clear and crazy as she is today to take away Ren Ran's fate. Yes, Mom will help you realize it. You take a rest first, and leave the rest to me. She walked out and dialed an unknown number. You can do it? The other side simply replied okay. The daughter couldn't wait. The invisible fate was not something she could control. Repair shop. A low-key Volkswagen Phaeton sedan drove into the repair shop. After seeing it, the store manager came to receive it in person. Uncle Wang got out of the car, and the store manager immediately handed him a cigarette. It's still the same old rules, daily maintenance. Okay, the store manager glanced at the mechanic in the store. Lao Miao, take the newcomer and maintain the car. Be sure to do it carefully. After giving the order, the store manager stopped Uncle Wang and walked to the lounge on the second floor. Let's go upstairs and have some tea. When the boss and Uncle Wang went upstairs, Lao Miao shouted to a young man who was washing the car outside the door, "Hey, Xiao Lei, deal with this first. Leave the other side to Lao Hu." The young man named Xiao Lei responded innocently and followed. The car was hoisted up, and the two of them divided the work, with Lao Miao as the main one. Xiao Lei glanced at Lao Miao. "Brother Miao, let me check that side. Leave this kind of dirty and tiring work to me." Lao Miao smiled and said, "You are a conscientious kid." As he said that, he crawled out from under the car, and Xiao Lei crawled under the car. A few hours later, Uncle Wang drove back to the villa halfway up the mountain. In the study, the grandfather and grandson were playing chess. Where do you think they will start? Maybe it will be the same as in the previous life, still not 100% sure. These days, she has asked Gao Ying to invite the retired ace scout comrades she hired before to come over to secretly protect her grandfather. Because she couldn't be sure whether they would still use the tricks of the previous life or change to other methods. The last time Grandpa went to Kingsley Mountain Manor for a business cocktail party. Kingsley Mountain is located on a high mountain outside High City, and it is necessary to take a winding mountain road. Grandpa's car fell off a cliff when he was going down the mountain after the cocktail party, causing his death. It is reasonable to have a car accident on a winding mountain road. The business cocktail party at Kingsley Mountain is fixed and is held at the end of March every year, but now it is late February, a month's difference. At this time, Grandpa's mobile phone rang. It was a call from Secretary General Qin Quan. "Mr. Ren, I just received a notice that this year's Kingsley Mountain cocktail party will be held in advance, and the time will be this weekend." Ren Hongru and Ren Ran looked at each other. "Here it comes." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo Shi Mo Yet. Chapter 149. The Kingzetian cocktail party is one of the important gatherings in the Haishi business circle. The leader Fu Hongxin has a very powerful identity and background. It is said that his backers are in the imperial capital, and few people in Haishi do not give him face. Such a heavyweight cocktail party can make Fu Hongxin change the time. The information revealed here makes the expressions of the grandfather and grandson become solemn. Grandpa Ren Ran was a little shocked, and more confused. Ren Hongru put down his phone. "Tell me what you think." Ren Ran did not speak immediately. After thinking for a while, he said, "Based on my understanding of Ruan Fengru and Konglji, they are not familiar with Fu Hongxin." She remembered that it was not until they took over the Yaxing group and Ruan Fengru successfully squeezed into the financial circle and gained a foothold there that they had contact with big figures like Fu Hongxin. Perhaps some things in the previous life are not what they see on the surface, and there are many truths inside that they have not seen. How did they get Fu Hongxin to agree to change the rules? The first is that they can bring huge benefits to Fu Hongxin and make Fu Hongxin give them face. The second is that they have Fu Hongxin's handle. The third is that they let Fu Hongxin change the time through someone else, or another group of people. The first two possibilities are not great, about 30 to 40%. The third possibility is the highest. Ruan Fengru lent a sum of money before, which was far higher than the investment amount, and the remaining money was deposited into a mysterious account. It is very likely that the person or organization of the mysterious account, their connections, facilitated this matter. Ren naturally hoped that it was the third one rather than the first two. The larger their network of relationships, the worse it was for them. Other problems have uncertainties, but there is one that is very certain. They are still prepared to let Grandpa have a car accident as in the last life, and even choose the same location. In the previous life, the departure of Grandpa and Grandma made her mother and her fall into grief. At that time, Kongji had not yet revealed his true face, and he had inherited the Yaxing group. There was no reason for him to attack Grandpa. So, at that time, whether it was relatives or everyone in the outside world, they thought it was an accident and did not think much about it. Grandpa, I suspect that my mother took sleeping pills to commit suicide in the previous life, maybe not just that time. My mother did not commit suicide, but was murdered. When the little Taoist priest told the truth, Ren realized that the car accident of Grandpa and Grandma and the suicide of her mother might not be as simple as fate, but murder. After rebirth, the various experiences made her feel more and more that it was murder, not fate. Now they still want to cause a car accident, and the location they chose is the same, which makes her 100% sure. Ren Hongru nodded. As early as when she mentioned her car accident and her daughter's suicide by taking sleeping pills, he had a premonition that this matter was not simple. He protected his daughter very well, but he was not the kind of person who escaped from reality, not to mention that Ran was still alive. How could she leave Ran alone to suffer? She didn't mention it at that time, just because she didn't want to make her daughter-in-law too angry and didn't want her daughter to lose her mind. Suddenly, Ran's eyes widened, and she thought of something she had been ignoring. Grandpa, do you remember what I told you before? After you left, your aunt's family lived a prosperous life. Your uncle's chain restaurant is even more prosperous. What should I do if someone takes away my fate? I will just kill her. Author, Mo Yet. Chapter 150. That's true. Ren Hongru nodded. Do you mean they are involved? Ren nodded. Aunt and uncle are not good at business. They relied on your support to keep their restaurant alive. But since you left, the restaurant should have closed down and suffered with it, but it became prosperous, as if it was cheating. There is no trick in it, I don't believe it. Not to mention their attitude towards me in the last life, which is also intriguing. Ren Hongru sighed, they are all troublesome guys. Ren couldn't help but say, Grandpa, when Grandma comes to negotiate in the future, don't be embarrassed and promise not to. I should have agreed. After you left in the last life, my little grandmother didn't die, but lived well. She never stretched out her hand once, allowing her daughter and son-in-law to abuse me. If you say she knows nothing, I don't believe it. You always taught me to be kind and generous to others, but some people are born to be arrogant, and some people are not worthy of my generosity and kindness. I throw a bone to a dog, and the dog knows to wag its tail at me. But some people, no matter how good you are to them, in their eyes, this is what they deserve, not your generosity and kindness. Ren Hongru sighed and smiled and said, I know, I'll listen to you. What are you going to do next? I want them to prove the crime of murder. I will go to the banquet with you. Grandpa, the company can start. When that fierceness came out, Ren Hongru's eyes were full of light, and he was more and more like his old style. When he got older, he lost the energy of youth and began to become soft-hearted. Alas! The next day, there was a major personnel change in Yaxing Group. One by one, the middle-level leaders, and even several senior leaders, were all taken away for investigation. The internal groups of Yaxing Group were in an uproar, and anonymous discussions were started one after another. Chestnut, what's going on? Our department manager was taken away for investigation, and his office was sealed. Apple, our director was also taken away. Grape, oh my God, is there something wrong with the group? I have seen several people being taken away. Cherry, the group is not going to go bankrupt, right? The group is not doing anything illegal, right? Sugar Apple, the group just developed the Lewin Island project with Teo Group. How could it go bankrupt? How much can this project make the group earn? The possibility of committing a crime is not high after all. If a crime is committed, Director Ren and the finance department will be arrested directly. Blueberry, didn't you notice, all the people taken away are Mr. Kong's people? As soon as this was said, everyone came to their senses. Banana, hum, after listening to your words, I suddenly understood. Mango, think about it carefully, these situations are traceable. Mr. Kong was first assigned to the branch company, and then his position was removed and he was directly sent to the border, completely out of the head office. Various signs have long been traced. Lychee, did Director Ren take action, or did other directors take action? I think the former is very likely. Director Ren doesn't want Mr. Kong to inherit the Asia Star Group. Mr. Kong has always wanted to take over. Now I hear this news, I don't know if he will cry in the toilet. Half an hour later, Konglji, who was far away in Handong province, received a call.